Cassie, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. I think all the commissioners who are going to come are here, but I don't know if all the people who I expected to come are here yet, but I think they're not the first item anyway, so it's probably fine to get started if you guys want to.
I would prefer we get started.
Okay, cool.
All right. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order as extended on June 15, 2021, with the governor's signing of Senate Bill number 2475, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found below. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the City of Easthampton website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Should an interruption occur in which the meeting ends abruptly, the meeting will not be restarted and all agenda items will be automatically continued to the next scheduled meeting. Right. I will now call to order the September 13th, 2021 meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission. Are there any public concerns, non-agenda items?
I've not received any.
Thank you. Moving on. Public hearings/meetings. Public hearing continued from August 23rd. Notice of intent filed by Lathrop Community Inc. at 100 Bassett Brook Drive, map 104, lot 2, for improvements to existing trail network, Mass DEP file number 1510315.
They have requested to continue to the next meeting scheduled September 27th.
Is there a motion to continue to September 27th, 2021 at 6 p.m.?
Motion to continue September 27th.
Is there a second? Second. All right, roll call vote. August?
Aye.
Busa?
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan?
Aye.
Teffer?
Aye.
Whittemore?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next item, requests for certificate of compliance, City of Easthampton, White Brook and Broadbrook, Mass DEP file number 151268, maintenance dredging, maps 151 and 165, lots 166 and 1. Is there someone from the city to present on this filing?
I believe Rosalie is here to speak on behalf of the city for GZA.
Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here for the request for the certificate of compliance for the White Brook and Broadbrook Sediment Basin dredging project. We had a site walk last week and observed the locations of the work, one near the Broadbrook Basin and one near the White Brook Basin. There's also the sediment disposal site, but I don't believe that part of the work area was under the jurisdiction of the commission. And aside from one area next to the park access road where the vegetation had not, it kind of died off. I believe it had started to come in, and then sometime in July it seemed to die off a bit. So there's an area that's not totally showing vigorous growth, but the Parks Director indicated that he will include that in his overseeding program for the park itself and address that. But aside from that, everything else was fully stabilized. There was significant vegetative growth near the Broadbrook Basin with wildflowers. The access road, the gravel access road, has shown no signs of erosion. So the project looks to be complete. Are there any questions?
What was the date of the site visit itself?
Was that Wednesday? Let me see.
I want to say, hold on, I can pull up really quick, sorry. It was on Thursday, the 9th of September.
Yes, that's correct.
And I have pictures if you guys want to see, and then also we can go over what the order of conditions called for if you want.
I would like that. I do have a question while you're pulling that information up, Cassie.
Yeah.
So where, I guess maybe if you can pull up a site plan to specifically identify the location of kind of sparse vegetation that is to be, you know, that the Parks Department indicated that they would overseed, and what seed mix or what seed species composition would be applied in that area?
Yeah, I can pull up a plan, but the location, so the White Brook Basin is located at the bottom of the slope. So let me.
Picture if you want me to share it.
Oh, you have a picture?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is the entrance to the park is kind of back here. This is the area right above where the access road was, and basically starts at the bottom of the picture up to here is up beyond.
Okay.
You know, this picture.
Yeah.
So.
And just to the left of the photo is where it slopes down towards the bottom, and the basin and the brook are down at the bottom of the slope. You know, there was no evidence of erosion in this area, and the slope itself was fine. It was just this upper area next to the roadway.
So Cassie, based on your site visit, is there any kind of erosion sedimentation potential that could affect wetland resource areas down gradient of this?
Let me share you another picture of the actual slope itself. And it's funny because the slope itself is pretty well vegetated. So hold on just a second. So basically, no, I think it's probably okay. This is the slope down to where they actually did the work dredging. So this started to grow back better than the upper area. And like they said, you know, it rained recently. I didn't see any rivulets in this area, or it didn't look like it was washing away necessarily. Every other location was really well stabilized.
Is that jute netting on the slope?
Possibly. Yeah, it looks like there might be here. Let's zoom in. Yeah, you can see here. There might be some kind of netting on there as well.
I think there was stone in there too, so probably a little bit left. I don't remember any jute netting, unless it might have been I think we had a silt sock there. Because I don't remember them juning the entire slope.
Yeah, I think that might just be evidence of the silt sock that was going around the area.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Looking at the photos I have.
Because that was the road before, so I don't think they put any netting along the slope itself. I think they may have put a little bit of straw just to stabilize it.
Okay.
And can you summarize what was the volume of material that was removed from this area?
Let me just pull that up. It was pretty much, it was aligned with what we had projected and indicated on the plans. It didn't vary significantly from that.
And Cassie, I'm in the shared Google Drive, and I'm under RCOC. I see a PDF that's got the 2-page form. Are there additional attachments?
So the requirements from under the order of conditions were not very extensive. It was basically just come for a request for certificate of compliance, you know, once the work is complete. So the order of condition didn't need the submission of an as-built or anything like that. Though I do believe Rosalie probably has more information that she can share with you guys, but basically that it was complete.
Yeah, so the volume of excavation at the White Brook was about 220 cubic yards. And then at Broadbrook, about 1,200 cubic yards. And I wasn't directly involved in submitting the certificate of compliance documentation, but if needed, we can submit the as-built plans, which really don't, the only change to the plans was really regarding the control of water at Broadbrook, which is probably something that has already been presented to the commission in the past, but we can provide the as-built as needed.
I can share the order if you guys want to look at it, what it says for it.
Would you like me to share the as-built plans on the screen?
Sure, that would be helpful. And if you could do that.
I made you a co-host, Rosalie, so you can go ahead whenever you like.
Okay. Just. Share screen. Okay, everyone see my screen? So, you know, we had, this is the as topographic plan for the the White Brook Basin. So that's what they use to calculate the volume. This here is the gabion weir that's just in front of the culvert inlet. So the roadway is over here. So they excavated a fairly circular area here in front of the gabion. So here's a locus view of the area. This is our plan here that was part of the construction drawings of the existing conditions. Most of these sheets they added in. Oh, here we go. So this is the topographic plan of the excavated basin at Broadbrook. So, you know, this is the location of where the access road comes down, I believe. And they excavated this area in here. This is the kind of peninsula island that didn't get altered. And they indicated where they placed the dredged materials at the disposal site. And I think that's it for information regarding the as-bills.
All right, thank you. Cassie, can you share the order of conditions and we can just go back through that quickly?
So it's really, this is the end of the special conditions. We can start at the top if you like, but basically there was the monitoring, monitoring requirements, which was completed during construction, and all these other items were fulfilled. And the only part that talks about certificate of compliance are these two items, just within 30 days of completion of the work and submitting the request for certificate of compliance, or partial if they like, but they're going for full.
Okay. So what was the total volume excavated from the Broadbrook site? Do you know that?
Did you say earlier 1,200 cubic yards, I think, Rosalie?
Yes.
So is that what was within the range that was, I apologize, I don't remember the specific volume. So how does that compare? How do those volumes compare to what was estimated under the permit order of conditions?
Well, so we actually have that on the plan here, I thought. Yeah, so let me just check again the final number, but on the plan we have 1,230 cubic yards for Broadbrook. That was what we estimated.
Yep.
And then just trying to recall where the best way to get this information.
I think you had a call out on the plans, the original plans for both of them.
Yeah, and Diane, by your memory, the final volume was pretty much aligned with
It was within 10 cubic yards.
Mhm. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, the Broadbrook Basin, 1,230 cubic yards, and the Whitebrook Basin, I think 220. Yeah, that's 220 cubic yards for Whitebrook.
Okay. And Cassie, can you go back to the front end of the order of conditions? I just want to double check.
Do you want me to go farther, or?
Yeah, to the very front end of the order.
Oh, I see.
Sorry.
This part or more?
No more.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. Sorry. Down to the top of the next page. Okay. So, all right. So does the application include, I just want to make sure we are where we need to be with our documentation. So it looks like the final approved plans had a PE stamp. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did the request include an engineer's statement?
The request for the certificate of compliance.
Yeah, when a project includes, stamp drawings, whether it's a PE, architect, landscape, or surveyor, the request for certificate of compliance is supposed to be accompanied by a written statement by a similarly certified individual.
Yeah, well, I did not provide one to the city for that purpose, but we can provide that.
Okay.
I am familiar with that.
Does anyone else have any other questions at this time? Is that something that you could provide to the commission before the September 27th meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Great. In that case, I'd prefer we hold off until we have that, Cassie. Other members? Deborah?
You had asked what the flower mix.
The overseeding mix that would be applied. I guess I just leapt to the assumption, but that's a good point. I assumed it would be some sort of lawn mix, since it's the area along the sidewalk road area.
That section is lawn mix. Everything else was wildflower mix. But this is more like the shoulder of the roadway.
Right, that's what the photo showed.
Everything else was wildflower mix, and Cassie has photos of some of the actual wildflowers coming up at the other basin.
Thank you. All right. So does anyone else have any other questions, comments, observations? All right, with permission, I'd like to see this continue to September 27th so that we can have that signed statement in hand. And I don't have any other questions, comments, or concerns. I just want to make sure that administratively we're consistent with that. Okay. Is there a motion to continue to September 27th? I'd like to go back in time, please. Yes.
Motion to continue September 27th at 6 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, roll call vote. August?
Aye.
Busa?
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan?
Aye.
Teffer?
Aye.
Whittemore?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for the explanations.
Thank you. I'd like to request that we take a couple items out of agenda order if possible. I have a couple to list off.
Sure.
Okay.
What are they?
I'd like to take item 5B, 7F, 7I, and then 5C in that order.
Okay. Motion to go out of agenda order for 5B, 7F, 7I, and 5C.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? August?
Aye.
Busa?
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan?
Aye.
Teffer?
Aye.
Whittemore?
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. So item 5B, Cernak Westview Terrace, map 165, lot 47. Good evening, Kelly.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Cahill.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did a site visit recently. The exact date. It was on, gosh, when was it? It was on September 1st, Wednesday, September 1st. We did a site visit, and I was looking through the old records of what was required, what the commission had required in the past for Westview Terrace, and or this, enforced an order. And so what I have already is that back in 2018, the commission was able to get a plan from GZA, and it was confirmed in the minutes that the seeding was complete, the repair from the ruts and from the road, from the actual tree removal was completely repaired. The slash had been removed, and also some brush piles had been created from some of that material as part of the plan. And then invasive management work had been completed in 2018 and 2019. Is noted in the reports that were submitted that the regrowth was exceeding expectations back in 2018. And then I guess the question becomes, what else is needed? Really, I think to kind of close this out, when I did during the site visit, a lot of the tree plantings, there were some that had not made it, that had died, and a good number of other trees that seem to be continuing to grow and healthy. I can share some of those pictures if you guys want. But I guess the question is, what is required of them? Kind of just to finish it off, a lot of the big major work, it seems, has been complete. So now it's invasive management and planting success, it seems like.
So Cassie, do you have the original enforcement order
Yeah, hold on just a second.
you can compare and contrast to? I know Kelly's been quite diligent about the details.
All right, share my screen.
Okay.
So then the actions. So it'll probably speak more to what was requested down here.
Okay. So, yeah, I think we can skip past all of these because these are kind of the preliminary. Okay.
Number 10.
So yeah, 2 consecutive growing seasons, beginning the first full growing season after construction. So what can you, this is where my memory is really failing me. What was the year of construction? Was that 2019? Or was that 2018?
2018. We ended up doing the planting by November 2018.
And then, so monitoring year number 1 was 2019, monitoring year number 22 was 2022. So, sorry, wow, brain, 2020. We're now in 2021. So I think the assumption is that we're more than 2 full growing seasons into post restoration, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of closing in on the end of the 3rd growing season. So if we continue scrolling. So Cassie, based on your site visit on September 1st and your review of the, the restoration plan and the planting schedule, is it your assessment that this area has been successfully restored?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I can show you guys the pictures if you like. It's just very vegetated, generally, is what I'll kind of say as an overview. And there clearly hasn't been any more vegetation removal or work or driving or disturbance in the area either. Let me show the pictures and see if you guys think. So some of these pictures are kind of, I tried to do like close-ups of some plants to try to ID later. And some of them are close-ups to try to show that they're flagged and this is one of the original plants that was planted as part of it. So this is some kind of oak that kind of was experienced kind of funny growth patterns, but you can see it was flagged. It's one of the ones that was planted. Some of these smaller trees in the back you can see are some of the trees that were planted. Some of the brush piles that were purposely left there as part of the plan, for the review. Lots of goldenrod growing there. So you can see some of these flagged trees also. Again, more trees kind of coming back. Another flagged little guy. So some of them are pretty skinny. Some of them seem like they're doing pretty good. It seemed to me probably more of them were doing good than not. You know, without doing an official like flagged. This is one that had died. Right in the center here. So a number of them are flagged here.
Have you noticed, Kelly or Cassie, have you noticed any kind of volunteer saplings that are also starting to grow in those areas?
Yeah, some of these pictures are of that. This one seemed potentially like a very young tree. And then I think I have some pictures of some types of pine as well.
An oak. I've seen a grove of oaks establishing themselves as well.
Bear
Reestablished.
poop also. Found some bears.
Oops.
A lot of wildlife there now.
Let's see, one of these pictures, I think.
Oof. Sorry, that last one was arrow leaf tear thumb, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, here's one, a very small young pine tree, just an example. Saw a lot of that out there.
And how, in terms of the invasive species management, how has that been going? Is there enough revegetation with native herbaceous and woody material that it's a bit of a deterrent, or is it it's an uphill battle?
I mean, for my opinion, I saw a lot of, there's not a lot of open areas for it to be coming in. Most of it, you know, like you can see in these pictures, a lot of ferns and other things growing, lots of goldenrod everywhere. I don't know, Kelly, if you've done any other invasive work since we last spoke.
I have done some, but I've been very cautious because I could not risk contracting poison ivy like I did the first 2 years I worked on this property because of my work in the hospital. But I have been doing it very safely. I've done bittersweet. When I could, I did the mustard garlic as you had requested. I did the Japanese barberry and oh no, what's the ornamental one? The not almond, but
Autumn olive?
almond olive. Autumn
Autumn olive?
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I've just been very careful recently because of the pandemic, but I have done some. But we were very, very aggressive with it the first 2 years.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Cassie, can you go back to the enforcement order?
Sorry, closed out of it. Here we go. Some reason. Okay.
So if we go back past number 10,
Okay.
that's roughly where we left off. Oh. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, keep going. Yeah. Okay. So it seems to me that all requirements have been satisfied. Was anyone else from the commission able to attend that site visit last week?
No, it's just me and Mr. Cernak were there.
Are there any questions from other members of the commission? Okay, so being none, it's my opinion that based on the information presented, that all requirements of the enforcement order have been satisfied.
I'm good with that.
So would anyone care to make a motion to lift the enforcement order?
I'll make a motion that we lift the enforcement order on Westview Terrace.
There's a
Second.
second. All those in favor, roll call vote. August,
Aye.
Busa,
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan,
Aye.
Teffer,
Aye.
Whittemore,
Aye.
motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So,
Kelly.
What I'll do is I'll send you a letter, probably by email, if that's all right, that just kind of says this, essentially. There's not really any other official form to close it out that DEP has or anything like that, so.
Oh, okay. So we don't need to sign or get anything certified. We just wait for that email and then we have that on record.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Right. Moving on out of agenda order to item 7F, One Industrial Lofts LLC. Have I got this right, Cassie?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's right.
One Industrial Lofts LLC, 1 Ferry Street, Tract 1, DEP file number 151298, Ferry Street Mill Redevelopment Project, maps 131 and 135, lots 2 and 1.
And we're doing both orders that were issued. There were 2 tracks. So
Oh, okay, so FNG.
oh yeah, sorry. Yes. G.
That's fine. So that's also DEP file number 151299. So what is the,
They filed a simple request for extension for the project. They issued a letter for each tract, each order. And they were set to expire in December of this year. So they're ahead of the game on that, which is nice. And I can share the letters if you like right now, but
yeah, if you could, that would be helpful. And for what period of time was the extension requested?
I want to say it was the standard 3 years. Let me double check. Okay. Computer is being slow. Hold on. Yep, 3 year extension for, double check, confirm it was both, but I believe it's for both. Yep, both of them would like a 3 year extension submitted by R. Levesque Associates on behalf of, One Industrial Lofts. Anything? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, it doesn't make any other notes about, status of construction or anything like that. I think construction's just ongoing and they need 3 more years.
And just out of curiosity, in parallel, what is the status of SWIP monitoring? Just
It's good. Yep, consistently submitting them. No problems at all. They have just that one piece of wattle there at the base of kind of where all that comes down. So I've actually ridden my bike by a number of times and seen myself that it was intact and looking good.
Commissioners, I think it's within our discretion to issue a 1, 2, or 3 year extension. Is there any discussion?
I'm fine with issuing a 3-year extension.
I'm fine also.
Okay. Any further discussion? Right, so make sure I've got all my pieces together here. I think it would be wise if we dealt with these with 2 separate motions. So would anyone care to make a motion regarding a 3-year extension for the order of conditions DEP file number 151298?
Motion to issue a 3-year extension for DEP file number 151298.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor, roll call vote. August?
Aye.
Busa?
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan?
Aye.
Teffer?
Aye.
Whittemore.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Is there a motion regarding a 3-year extension for the order of conditions for 151299?
Motion to issue a 3-year extension for DEP file number 151299.
I'll second.
All those in favor, roll call vote. August,
Aye.
Busa,
Aye.
Patrick is absent. Ryan,
Aye.
Teffer,
Aye.
Whittemore.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to item 7I, River Valley Co-op Market, 228 Northampton Street, DEP file number 151301, site redevelopment for new supermarket and related site work.
Okay, this one is for a request to suspend reporting until a certificate of compliance is issued. Barring any greater than 2.5 inch rain events, they still have to report for those. They have been sending me reports again. We kind of got that sorted out. I know there was a number that we're missing, but they're back on top of it. We did a site visit also on, when did we do the site visit? Site visit on August 27th. And the site, the one thing that was remaining unvegetated was an area by where the I think they were the battery pads, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, near where the that we're going to work for the over parking solar areas, that has since been seeded. So I can turn it over to Jeff if you want to talk about it, the state of the site as it is right now.
Sure. Yeah. They're really just finishing up some of the solar installation, all the pads and the work around where the battery pads and transformer and stuff have been installed. They're just waiting for the equipment to be put in, but all the grading, all the earthwork, all the other site work around it has been completed and seeded. And yeah, Cassie said we did make a site visit a couple weeks ago, and everything looks in really good shape. So they're just looking to suspend the SWIP reporting. We're waiting for final as-built information from site contractor and a couple others to finalize a submission for certificate of compliance, but the project is largely complete except for the last few solar items.
So I guess I just wanted to ask for one bit of clarification. Cassie, you said a 2.5 inch rain event. Did you mean a 0.25?
0.25.
Okay.
Yeah. Also for those two, though. I mean, that's a lot of rain. So.
Okay. Do you have photos of the unvegetated area that we could see?
I don't know if well, I do have more recent photos. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me pull up I have the photos from the site visit, and then I have photos from the most recent report. Do you have a preference? Do you want to see the most recent report, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Okay,
cool. Hold on just a second.
2.5 inches is not out of the question these days.
That's very true.
No, that's kind of getting to be the norm, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. So this is sent in pieces. I want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, this is the best one. So I kind of got sent in a couple of pieces. So this is the area that's Northampton Street right there. And it kind of comes back, and they built this berm here. Erosion control still in place. So this is the area that still needs to be seeded to a degree. This is from September 6th, these images. So it's from here to kind of over there.
And it's hard for me to, so there is still a silt fence and there's some vegetation between the unvegetated and the limits of work.
This silt fencing extends pretty much the entirety of this area. You can kind of see it here.
Mm-hmm.
Comes down. And then you can see this grass on the slope below it.
And that's a pretty small area, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that area itself is pretty level. It's not like it's on a slope.
Right. The area where the battery pads is elevated a couple of feet from the wetland, the wetland elevation. And yes, Cassie pointed out, it's sort of an elevated terrace.
Mhm.
And is that area, it looks like that area is also largely underneath the solar canopy, is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
So it's not going to get a lot of direct runoff.
A lot of
anyways?
runoff, right?
What was the total site disturbance to begin with? Cumulative, was that?
You might be able to answer that, but I can try to pull up the original order.
Yeah, I don't recall what the total site disturbance was.
Here we go.
Hmm.
And this
We
may
were
not
in
have had,
the
the-
buffer zone, so if they
Right.
mentioned it, it would be in the,
probably,
it would be in attachment A. Ooh.
Zone.
Mhm.
I don't know that it says explicitly. It might be in the notice of intent.
Okay. I think it's safe to say that the area that remains unvegetated is well under 1 acre. Is that
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
okay? So I guess it seems like this area is limited, has been seeded. Was it loamed as well?
Yes, it was.
It has very little potential for erosion and sedimentation of wetland resource areas, so I don't have any concerns with suspended reporting except when there's a rain event greater than 0.25 inches. Do others have any comments they want to add?
No concerns.
All right, so would anyone care to make a motion to suspend SWIP monitoring and reporting requirements except in the event of rain events greater than 0.25 inches?
I'll make a motion to suspend reporting requirements, except in the event of rainfall greater than 0.25 inches.
I'll second.
All those in favor, roll call vote. August,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan,
Aye.
Heffer,
Aye.
Whittemore.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going back up, item 5C, Autumn Properties LLC, rear 161 to 165 Northampton Street.
Good evening.
Evening, Mark.
Yes. Thank you for changing the order of the agenda tonight. I have to apologize because I thought your meeting was next Monday night, the 20th, and then realizing this afternoon at about 4 o'clock that, oh dear, it's tonight. So I emailed a report from GZA that I know you all haven't seen yet and haven't had a chance to look at, relative to the enforcement order and the restoration and monitoring of the area behind 161 and 165 Northampton Street. The work has been done and is completed. Dan Nitschke did a report, which Cassie has in her emails now. And the work has been completed as specified in the report, or the restoration report. And after, well, it was issued, the enforcement order was issued in 2016, and the restoration plan was 17. So here we are in 21, and we're getting it. It's done. So we would like to, have the commission review it and approve it.
Great. So you said this was provided earlier today?
Yes, it is. And I can share it with you now.
Mark, could you, because I don't see it in my email.
Okay.
Might need to send it again. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I can share it if you like. So make sure I get the right report here. Okay, so this was the original restoration plan. And that was dated October 12th, 2017. And I just had on my screen here the report that Dan sent me today. Where did it go? Here it is. So this is from today. So that in the report itself, that GZA marked the invasive plants before removal work began. The owner has removed the plants by hand using loppers. The removed material has been placed in a dumpster for disposal, and the area was clear of invasive species. And he has some pictures that goes along with it in the area behind. So this was really the last component, is removal of the invasive species. You know, as soon as the enforcement order was issued, they stopped any activities back there. So this is, let me just move this for a minute. This is one picture, in, you know, in the resource area. So that's the markings of the plants to be removed. This is when it was removed. Follow-up inspection. And then the last picture is a picture of the dumpster with them in it and ready to be transported out of the site.
And what were the dates of those photos again? Sorry.
So these photos were, let me go up to here. Let's see, his photos were just recently, I think like 2 weeks ago. He didn't put it in the report. I can look at when they did it on my phone. 1 second. I believe it was the beginning of August. I just can't find it right now. But I can confirm with Dan on that.
That'd be great. Yeah, if you can maybe resend to Cassie with that date in your
Sure.
email.
Okay.
That'd be great. And Cassie, do you think you could schedule a site visit between now and our next meeting?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Mark, we can coordinate through email if you like.
Sure. My issue is that I'm not gonna be around on the 27th, but I'm here for the next 2 weeks. So that's why I was assuming it was the 20th and could get it before then, and realizing that, no, that's, so yeah, anytime, Cassie, if you want to go out there and look at it. If you want Dan to attend, that's fine also.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it can go and it's helpful, then that'd be great for the site visit. And then maybe on the 27th, if the commission wants, if Dan can come, that would be to answer questions. Otherwise, if we just want to review it without a representative, it's up to the commission, I guess, or if Dan's available. The meeting after the 27th, there's not another meeting until October 25th.
Right.
Holiday on the.
Correct.
So
Okay.
maybe in consideration of the various, you know, schedule considerations in the next few meetings, Cassie, if you guys could schedule that site visit sooner than later, and then push that report out to the commission members, and if as individually we could let you know if there are any particular areas of concern that we'd like you to pay particular attention to.
Okay.
We could try to individually, not collectively, share those perspectives with you and maybe hope to facilitate resolution.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Yeah, Mark, through email, we can set up a date to do the same. My schedule's really flexible, so it should be easy.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark.
Good night.
Okay, good night. All right, so returning to agenda order. Are there updates on either items 5A or D, Cassie?
So I do have for 5A. So Commissioner August was nice enough to she's been checking periodically at 10 O'Neill Street. We were able to do a site visit on, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Deborah, I think it was the 9th or the 8th of September.
You had 8th on the report.
The 8th, yep. So, and at that time, she noticed that there was 2 vehicles parked in that area that they're not supposed to be parked in. I can share the picture. And then by the 11th, they were gone and they moved out of there. It doesn't look like there's evidence of that consistently happening at this stage. I did want to point that out. I thought that was noteworthy for the commission. I can show that picture here in a second. Okay. So there's this kind of like that mowed patch and then the revegetated area. It doesn't look like they're in the revegetated area. They're in this kind of mowed area.
It doesn't look like they're stored. It looks like somebody parked there for the day or something, right? Looks like they just pulled in there and.
Yeah, and I'll show you the pictures from the 11th with them gone. You can see there's not a lot of evidence of like damage there. Like maybe you'd see if they were parked there consistently.
But they've not been very cooperative with you about information, correct?
Well, the last thing that happened was they came to us saying that they were going to find a consultant to develop a restoration plan. And we just never really heard from them again. And I've left a lot of messages with the phone number that I had as I made contact. And we even attempted to send another letter to them. The letter got sent back, and it was weird because the post office guy signed it himself because he wasn't able to deliver it. It was super. I went through this long process of like calling the post office and trying to figure out what the heck happened. So that was kind of weird. So I don't know if it was explicitly refused or just they were just undeliverable. I think that the conclusion was that it was just undeliverable and they didn't really know why. But yeah, the phone calls have not been returned or anything like that. But they have stopped going over there and it's been revegetating. But I haven't been into the area to see, if there's necessarily a lot of invasives or anything like that either. So it's just a commission if this changes anything or if kind of just keep monitoring it. Where we last left it, so we're going to keep monitoring it until I believe next spring to see how it was doing, I guess.
I mean, if the commission's intent was to have the area revegetate, then I think that's being achieved. So I think we just keep an eye on it. This is marginal buffer zone. I think that's a sign we're going on too long, Cassie.
Oh, it keeps me engaged.
So I'm fine with continuing to keep an eye on things through the beginning of the next growing season, but open to discussion, other perspectives, opinions. Anyone feel there?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. So let's just pin in that one until the spring, unless someone notices something sooner. Okay. And 5D, Bernard Gall, 37 South Street.
No updates for that one yet. I'll keep working on it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So then on to item 6, open space updates. Anything regarding Echodale West or Lathrop?
Yeah, so a lot of progress with Echodale. So last thing that happened was I was going to reach out to Land Stewardship Inc. about potentially doing the mowing first before the cut stem treatment, because that was the problem last time, is that the cut stem treatment was completed and the mowing was never done. So then we had to do the cut stem treatment now again. The issues regarding trying to get the mowing done last time was there were some hurdles regarding potentially, trying to figure out if we had to pay someone to do it, and it was going to have to go to bid to find someone to do the mowing and all this stuff. But Jay was nice enough to offer to
Whole
do,
things.
to volunteer to do it this time. And it's not a small area, so it's really generous. So the question though became, how do we want to mow it? Because there's kind of two options as it was described to me by Land Stewardship Inc. And one is that we can kind of just try to reset the whole area and mow everything, all the shrubs that are there, because a number of shrubs have come up, some native, some invasive. Or what we could do is go out there and flag the invasives, or I guess, I don't know what would make more sense, flag the natives or the invasive shrubs, whichever one.
Flag the natives.
Flag the native shrubs, and then have Jay maintain those ones, because he said he'd be able to mow a mature multiflora rose, which is what the majority of the invasive shrubs are. So kind of creating more of a shrubland mosaic. And I don't know if that was necessarily the original vision of the area before, but could potentially be good habitat. I just want to look at how she described it. Let's see.
But does land stewardship, would they rather have a multiflora just isolated and left there, or like it mowed to the ground and then let it start to come back by itself and then treat it?
I think that they were saying, let's see. So it's basically whatever, it's more just what is the end result that the city wants, is kind of the way that it was phrased to me. And I can read this thing. She said, it's up to you and the town how much of that you would like to reestablish as field habitat out of the entire 4.7 acres. If the town wants the whole thing brought back to field conditions and the mowers can cover that acreage, take down all the shrubs, then I would say go for it. Like we discussed in the field, there's also an opportunity to leave the front half with a bit of both field and shrub habitat and just mow around the shrub islands that have filled in. The only issue here is that half of those shrubs are invasives, which would mean a heavier cut stem treatment is needed. Depending on what the mowers are capable of, have the time/budget for, the priority to mow would be the back half, which is closer to 3 acres. This is sort of a pivot point for the project. You can work around that, what is there for the initial mow, and leave the denser spots that have grown in, creating more of a field shrubland mosaic, which will potentially mean heavier overall invasive management, or you can mow the whole lot of it and reset the system essentially. Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know, I feel like I could potentially go out there and flag the good shrubs, and if Jay wants to.
I bet it's 8 feet tall in there because of the rain we've had.
Oh yeah. When we last did a site visit, it was wild. But
I mean, I would somewhat defer to Jay's discretion and what he's willing to tackle as well. I think either presents good options for the area.
I think it's easier to mow everything right to the ground and then wait for the invasives to pop up and deal with them separately. I would still go through and identify native plants that we don't want to touch if we can get in there and see them, and just save the good ones.
Okay.
But if it's all mowed, then it gives people access to get to the trees that need to be taken down in some orderly fashion where they can get vehicles in there, because there's no access now.
Okay.
And I would do any mowing right now. It's just too wet. I think it would just make a mess of things.
Yeah.
Do you think there'd be potential to do it still this fall, or no?
Definitely. Let's get out of the rainy season. Get, 2
When would
weeks,
that
2
be,
weeks.
Jay?
Yeah, I know. I'm not
All
sure
the rainy
anymore.
season
But
now, okay.
normally the reading season's over in September, but
Yeah.
I don't think we have to wait till the ground to be frozen. I mean, it didn't freeze last year, so I don't think it would freeze this year. But as long as it's a little drier, you're not just making a mess out of it, because I know there's some wetlands that run through there and things like that. So
Yeah.
we may want to flag those areas and try to stay away from them a little bit.
Right.
If you can even see them.
Right. Well, I know we have some mapping that I can use too.
Right.
Okay, so Cassie, you're gonna attempt to flag out the native shrubs that we're gonna try to mow around, and
Yeah, I'd like to go out there with you, but you know, site visits at 8 in the morning, not really best for me, so.
No, I appreciate that. I think maybe, I don't even know, it's gonna be a little bit of a project to get out there and do it anyway. So I'll just do my best shot. And then once I'm done, let's try to do, I think it would be
Okay,
wise to do a
right.
site visit with you and me and,
Yeah,
and Jessica. So,
all right, then you see how far you can get in there and how much you can do, and you know, maybe we need to mow to get into there a little bit to do work, so we'll see.
if I don't come to the next meeting, it's because I'm lost in there. So
Yeah, right.
someone come get me.
All right, well, that's fantastic progress, and thank you, Jay.
No
That's
problem.
one way to put that behind us. All right, any updates on Lathrop? None.
No updates.
Okay. Regarding compliance updates, are there any items regarding open orders that we should address during this
So
meeting?
I only have 3 things. So one is that our next meeting, we're gonna look at 232 Park Street, the solar project there. They're gonna request an extension to their order of conditions. They're really close. All the work is essentially done except for the monitoring reports for the replication area. That's just an update on that. And the other one was that for the school site, 200 Park Street, I've been receiving reports since they made those changes. Everything seems to be working. I haven't received any other notifications of problems happening there, and I've been getting their reporting as needed.
Okay.
And then
Actually, going back just one
Yes.
to 232 Park Street. So the commission will have to receive that request no later than October 28th,
yes,
or we can't act on it.
no, I already got the request. So
Oh, okay, so that'll be on our next.
Yeah. And what was the last one? Oh, and so the last one was for 108 Oliver Street. We conducted the pre-construction meeting. Everything looked good. And I've been working with Mr. Chickwin in regards to the monitoring and all the kind of clarifications that were figured out at that one meeting. So the order's been recorded and everything like that. So I'm waiting for them to submit the request for the building permit, and I will approve it.
Okay. All right, excellent. Thank you. Are there any projects anyone has questions about that haven't been addressed? If none, we will move on to general business. Oops. Sorry, bouncing around too much. Meeting minutes, August 23rd, 2021.
There were a couple of errors, but that Deb caught and I fixed. So those have been just type grammatical errors and things like that. Those have been
Okay.
fixed.
So we do have a quorum for this. Commissioner Teffer was absent with notice from that meeting. But the other members can vote as attendees. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns about these meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from, what is it, August 23rd?
23rd.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. August,
Aye.
Busa,
Aye.
Buttrick is absent. Ryan,
Aye.
Teffer was not present at that meeting, and Whittemore.
Aye.
Motion carries. 1 Cottage Street, possible violation.
Yeah, so just at the last meeting, it was requested that I reach out to the property owner and just see what the reasoning behind that clearing kind of along the canal was. And I spoke with Shar, and she explained that they do that yearly. They did not do it last year during COVID. And so there was 2 years worth of growth. So when they did the management, it just looked a little extra, noticeable comparatively. But that is the typical maintenance that they complete there. So I didn't know if anyone had any other questions about that maintenance or.
Cassie, is that next to, is that like between like 15 Cottage Street, like between the parking lot in the back, or is that in the front?
It's in the back. So yeah, there's kind of like that canal that comes out of the buildings, and then there's a bridge, and then it extends onward. There's that area.
Did it look like it was sedimented, like sedimentation coming off of it or anything like that?
It was only just cut down. They didn't do any like ground disturbance. So it was just, there were some larger stems that were cut, but no tree removal, no root removal. Most of the area still had, you know, the bottom layer of vegetation was still there as far as I could tell.
Okay. I guess there's not major disturbance. It's just there was definitely habitat there for fishies that I've seen, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the one of the concerns is that, you know, more mature vegetation had kind of grown up. It's not really an area many of us see on a regular basis, and you know, sedimentation is one concern. Shading the water column, it's channelized stream, so.
I know there's a lot of impact. It's funny because I didn't think there was anything in there. I was walking by one day because we used to live down there, and there were spawning suckers in there, which was super cool.
Nice.
Because I'm a fish nerd, but yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely snapping turtles that make their way up to the toe of the Nashwanik Pond Dam and chill out on the spillway.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of their maintenance?
Well, she had explained that it just, I think part of it maybe aesthetic, so like you can see around into that parking lot. Up in that area behind them is where, but behind One Cottage Street is where they do a lot of the pickup of the people who go there, get picked up through the buses there. I think too, she was saying like some of the vegetation was starting to climb up onto the streetlight structures and things like that.
Yeah, there's poison ivy in there too, so I'm sure they're trying to keep that under control.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess one way of looking at this is this any different, having been performed routinely for a good number of years? Is this any different than someone mowing their lawn?
Are they exempt because of any mill complex rules? No.
No, it's, I mean, they'd still be buffer zone.
Okay.
And then depending on elevation, BLSF, but.
Does the buffer zone regulations change if it's a channelized stream?
No, it still has a bank. The canals, the actual canals in Holyoke have buffer zone.
Yeah.
And land underwater.
Yeah.
And they're waters of the US.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone else have any other thoughts?
I don't know if it seems to me like if it's something that, I mean, I've just been noticing this since being on the commission. It's just like if things have been going a certain way, as long as there's not a change that it has a negative consequence, it's okay. But it's whether or not those baseline conditions, like we're talking about with these rain events that are more and more, whether that becomes a concern. And so those opportunities arise when a change happens and we start looking at things. In this case, it doesn't necessarily seem to be the case.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that as long as provided there's no ground disturbance or other bank erosion, destabilization because of the action. Because then I think we'll start hearing about how the parking lot or the building will be undermined, and I'm not really interested in figuring that out. Anyone else? Julie, Jay, Michael, Deborah?
I mean, it's certainly not the ideal condition, but in answer to your question, I don't think it's really any different than mowing your lawn up to the edge of the pond or the stream, which is also not the ideal condition, but not something that we really have the authority to change. So.
Okay. So I think for now, maybe we just make it a habit on a more regular basis to try to view the area for any signs of slope destabilization, erosion, sedimentation. I don't think they're dropping the cut vegetation into the stream channel, so yeah, that doesn't seem like an issue. I think for now we don't really need to make an enforcement matter of this.
Okay. Yeah, I can make a point to kind of just keep an eye back there.
Yeah, and if you want to just connect with Char and let her know the discussion that we had, I think that would be helpful. Close the loop on it with her.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
Hey, next item, future switch from Zoom to Google Meet.
Right. So the city made a big switch in all the other things like we've discussed before to Google. Like I've been using the Drive recently, everything like that. This, I don't know when exactly the switch is going to happen, unfortunately, for us going to Google Meet. My understanding is that the city council is going to start doing it for their meetings in October, I think, if they haven't started doing it already. And they're going to test it all out and then maybe even generate some like guidance or like training materials for switching over to it. I don't know how long their like trial period is going to be. So I just kind of wanted to put it on everyone's radar. If you have time, you can watch that tutorial video I put in the ongoing project update document. It's pretty straightforward. It's very similar. In theory, it should be the same as Zoom where you literally just have to click the link and you guys are in the meeting. The layout is a little different. So what I'd like to do once I know when we're going to make the switch is offer, you know, some practice meetings with anyone who wants one, or we can, I don't know if we're allowed to do like, I know for Zoom, I think we did a practice meeting way at the beginning of the pandemic. So we can do that again if you guys want. Otherwise just reach out to me. I can try to, any kind of like one-on-one practice people need, I'm happy to give it. But I don't know, I don't have much experience with Meet myself, unfortunately. I think I've used it a couple times.
Okay. So
What is the larger, I forget where we left things in terms of whether we're staying this way forever. Are we going to reconsider going back? Do we have a plan or are we just in limbo still?
No, that's a really good question. And I know that it seemed like it was like, well, imminently we're going to go back in person because the offices are back open. But they decided not to do that, especially considering the extension that that the state gave for having these virtual meetings. And then I don't think that the facilities are where they need to be to accommodate all the people and still have social distancing and also provide it virtual because they wanted to do a hybrid model. So I think it's just not possible yet. And I think that where it was left off was we were going to keep doing virtual until December, if I remember correctly, or they're going to revisit and consider it again then.
Okay.
So I'll keep you all posted. Definitely you all would be the first to know once that's like squared away. And that was my thing with the switching to Google Meet. I wonder if that might get postponed potentially too. So that's why I'm kind of like, let's schedule, you know, put it on the radar that this could happen and that I do want to do training stuff, but I don't think we need to schedule it right now.
We'll just wait until the roads get real bad and then we'll have to be in person.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure otherwise. Oh, and another thing, would everyone be okay with, I have everyone's phone and email. Is it okay if we share that to everyone on like the Google Drive? Just make sure that's all right. I have everyone's, I just want to make sure we'll be comfortable with that. I'll post it. So just in case site visit questions, things like that, sometimes it's easier for people to coordinate together. So that was the last thing.
cool. Okay. I think, like you said, that's the last thing. Our next meeting is on September 27th. And then Cassie, because of the holiday in October, we skip our first October meeting completely. So we get a good long gap between meetings.
Mhm.
And you said the next one after that was October
25th.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll send a reminder about that October meeting so people don't wonder what the heck's going on.
Yeah. Reminders are good.
So we go September 27th to October 25th?
Yep.
Ooh. Okay.
Motion to adjourn till September 27th at 6 p.m.
I'll second.
All those in favor, August,
Aye.
Yusuf,
Aye.
Patrick is absent. Ryan,
Aye.
Teffer,
Aye.
Whittemore.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.